All right, today we're diving into a really powerful idea, the concept of digital sanctuaries for people living with ALS. Now, this isn't about technology that cures the body, not at all. It's about something just as vital, safeguarding the person, the mind that lives within.
You know, this quote really gets to the heart of everything we're talking about. With ALS, even as the body undergoes profound changes, the mind, your cognition, your memories, your personality, it's often completely untouched. And that creates this incredible central challenge. You have this fully present, fully aware mind, sort of trapped, navigating a body it just can't command anymore.
So that's where this idea of digital sanctuaries comes in. And let's be clear, these aren't just gadgets or cool new tech. A better way to think of them is like architectural supports for a person's inner world. They're tools specifically designed to protect the very essence of who someone is.
Okay, that brings us to our first section. When we think about the struggle with ALS, it's so often framed through a physical lens, right? But the battle to preserve the self, that mind within, that's every bit as critical.
We're all familiar with the tools that support the body, right? Things like walkers, braces, ventilators. But this really reframes the conversation. It forces us to think about the tools for the mind, things like communication, connection, and autonomy. And believe me, these are just as vital for survival, just in a psychological sense.
So when we say protecting the mind, what exactly needs protecting? Well, it boils down to these absolute core human pillars: our sense of agency or control, our identity, who we are, our connections to other people, our ability to regulate our own emotions, and of course, our capacity to find meaning in our lives.
So let's look at the first pillar, restoring agency and voice. This is about one of the most fundamental human needs we have, isn't it? The need to be heard and to feel like you have some impact on the world around you. And a core piece of technology here is the speech generating device, or SGD. These things are incredible. Using inputs like just your eye movements, they can literally translate a person's thoughts into spoken words. They bridge that impossible gap between a silent mind and the world outside.
And the psychological impact of this, it's just enormous. We're not just talking about being able to ask for a glass of water. This is about participating in family decisions. It's about telling a joke, expressing love. It prevents what so many people with ALS fear the most, becoming invisible in their own lives.
And then you can layer something else on top of that. The incredibly powerful concept of voice banking. The idea is simple but profound. You record your voice before it's lost, and technology can then recreate it digitally. Just imagine hearing your own voice with its unique sound and inflection, expressing your thoughts. It's an unbelievably powerful tool for preserving that continuity of who you are. Okay, so having a voice is absolutely crucial, and that leads us right into our second pillar, defeating digital isolation. Because as physical mobility decreases, the risk of loneliness just skyrockets, and that becomes a direct, serious threat to mental health. But connection isn't a one-size-fits-all kind of thing, right? Different tools are for different needs. You've got video calls, which give you that face-to-face emotional depth. You've got online forums where you can get that validation from a shared experience. And then there are virtual groups, which can offer a really safe, professionally guided space. And you really can't overstate the importance of those visual cues. Seeing someone smile, or look of concern, or sharing a laugh, those tiny nonverbal exchanges are basically the glue of human connection. So video platforms become these essential lifelines. It's not just about conversation anymore, it's about presence.
All right, so we've talked about connecting to others. Our final pillar goes inward. It's about nurturing the inner world. This is all about using technology to help manage that internal landscape of thoughts and emotions, which, as you can imagine, can get incredibly turbulent.
And there are really 4 key ways we can do this. It's about regulating emotions, keeping the mind active and stimulated, finding outlets for creative expression, and continuing that all-important search for meaning and purpose. Let's just take emotional regulation, for example. Sometimes really simple apps can make a huge difference. A mood tracker can take this vague feeling of distress and turn it into a pattern you can actually see and understand. That gives you clarity. Or a quick 5-minute guided meditation can physically lower your body's stress response. These are super low effort but incredibly high impact tools. And what about your identity? When physical hobbies just aren't possible anymore, digital platforms for things like art or writing become absolutely critical. That ability to create something new, to express an inner vision, that is such a powerful affirmation of who you are and your autonomy. Agency isn't always about the big decisions.
Sometimes, the ability to do something as simple as change the music or dim the lights with just a voice command, that is a profound act of independence. And these little acts of control, they directly push back against those feelings of helplessness, and they really protect a person's dignity.
So after all this, what's the big takeaway? It's pretty simple, actually. These technologies, they aren't just conveniences, they're not just nice-to-haves. They are fundamental, essential tools for preserving human dignity.
Really, if you strip it all down, the psychological architecture of this tech does three core things. First, it preserves your ability to act on the world, your agency. Second, it keeps you connected to other people. And third, it helps you manage your own internal state. And when you support those three pillars, that's when you see resilience really grow.
And this really brings us full circle, back to our central theme. Look, nobody is pretending for a second that this technology is a cure. That's not its purpose. Its purpose is different, but it's absolutely no less vital. It acts as a shield for the mind, a safeguard for the self, especially in the face of such profound physical change.
Because ultimately, that's what this is all about. It's about making sure that the person, their humor, their intellect, their love, their voice is sustained and stays present long after the diagnosis has changed their physical world. It ensures the person inside is never, ever lost.